Hi to those who have just joined us as well. Good morning and good afternoon, because we are having this webinar for a few different regions. So I have actually launched a poll as well, just to understand you better while we're waiting. But since it has been 2 minutes, we'll just kickstart first. So just to share a bit more about the webinars that we are conducting. So today is actually the first webinar of the Future Work Trends webinar series that we are conducting. So we decided to start this webinar series as much has changed in the HR world in recent times. We wanted to help you to interpret the current trends better and to be one step ahead of the curve. So this is the first session, Implement and Manage Your Hybrid Team. Just some housekeeping before we get started. So this webinar is recorded and it will be shared on our YouTube page. But not to worry that all your information will be confidential. Also, if you have any questions at any point during this webinar, just type them in the Q&A chat and we'll be answering them. And also, if you just want to ask any question verbally, let us know. You can raise your hand and we'll give you permission to talk. We will be launching some poll questions throughout the session just to make it more interactive and to understand you better. There will also be a survey at the end of this session. And for those who attend this webinar, you are eligible for a free 2-hour HR consulting session. So I'm the account manager here, Uditi, and with me, Maurice here is actually the HR consultant of NuSmart. Without further ado, I'll hand over the time to Maurice. Maurice, over to you.
Thank you, Uditi. I hope everybody can hear me loud and clear. So once again, a good morning to those who are in the morning and good afternoon for those who are in Singapore or in this Southeast Asia region. Before I jump into my presentation, let me give you a bit of a background about myself. I'm a HR practitioner for more than 38 years. I have been a HR director for MNCs, covering the whole full spectrum of HR function. And also I have been exposed to the region here in Asia Pacific. And in the last couple of years, I've been a HR consultant, both in Southeast Asia and Singapore. And I've been exposed to many industries, from IT to engineering, healthcare, manufacturing, oil and gas, etc. I'm currently a HR consultant with NuVista Technologies. So today, I'm going to talk about implementing and managing a hybrid team. And what do we mean by a hybrid? We will also talk about the advantage and disadvantage of having a hybrid team in an organization. And what are some of the best practices on managing a hybrid team? And finally, how we can, as NuVista or NuSmart, can help you with managing a hybrid team. So first, before I start my presentation again, I'll talk a little bit about NuSmart or NuVista. NuVista was established in 2002 and has been a leading provider of cloud-based integrated IT solution. They are NetSuite partners since 2012 and have implemented ERP systems in more than 100 companies over 10 countries in Southeast Asia and Middle East. NuSmart is a sister company of NuVista, and they were established in 2015. And they focus very much on HR management system. To date, we have about 30 customers over 10 countries. So we service various industries. And besides having HR management system, NuSmart also provide HR consultancy services as well as payroll outsourcing. So let's get into our topic. First thing is definition of a hybrid team. Now, a hybrid team is a group of employees from different locations working together. So when we talk about different location, it means that some of the employees may be working fully in the office, while some may be working fully remotely at home or at other location. Some may be a combination of office and home on certain days of the week as well. Now, why do we have hybrid team today? Well, because of the COVID-19 situation, many employers have implemented hybrid work arrangement. And this has become a reality. And many employees have found that it is very attractive to have able to work on a hybrid work arrangement. Many employees and employers also realize that having a hybrid work arrangement do still result in people remaining engaged and as productive as before. And for many employees, they find that working remotely has improved their work-life balance. Is hybrid team new? Well, no. Hybrid team is not new. Before COVID-19, many managers in multinationals have managed hybrid team, especially where the companies have offices around the world. Some of these managers has to manage people in their team from different countries across different time zones. And as such, some of the members may be working from home while they are working in the office. So therefore, hybrid team is not new. It's just that today, it is now becoming more common due to the COVID-19 situation. And of course, the difference between the past and present is that the most important thing is technology. In the past, technology was a constraint, but today's there are different types of technology available for managers to manage the hybrid team. So let me ask you, why do you like to work in a hybrid work environment? There are three reasons here that are very common that many people have given as the reason for working in a hybrid work arrangement. So Uditi will launch the poll now and do select one of the reasons. Why do you want to work on a hybrid work arrangement? Is it because of the flexible working hours? Is it because of work-life balance? Or because it saves time?
think just waiting for 2 more people. Yeah, I'll end the poll now.
Let's see the results. Well, 50% feel that by having hybrid, it helps to save time, especially traveling and also expenses. Well, there's an equal number in terms of flexible hours and work-life balance. Well, do understand that in today's young generation of workers or employees, especially the millennium, these young people has the liking of flexibility. They would like to work in a flexible work arrangement style. May it be working hours or location. So as we goes up, years after this, more and more people will be like you. They will prefer to work from home some of the days, and some of the day they will work in the office. So as organization, we need to face the reality. We need to wake up and understand that no longer can we impose that everybody goes to office to work. We need to change our mindset. We need to be flexible as well. We need to have that flexibility to have employees having flexible work arrangement. And this will then help the company to attract and retain employees. So let me talk about the advantages and disadvantages of working with hybrid team. Well, as mentioned just now about one of the advantages is to attract and retain talents, which is in point number 4. Other advantages are offering flexibility in work arrangement, as I have mentioned. Younger generation of employees, the Gen Y, X, and Millennium, they prefer flexibility. They do not like to be confined just to the office. They want flexibility in working hours as well as working location. And having a hybrid work arrangement will help to increase employee satisfaction. If you are able to meet the expectation, their needs, then therefore the employees will be happy. And as you know, when employees are happy, they tend to stay with the organization and work hard for the organization. And in that sense, there will be an increase in productivity. Sometimes working remotely from home, employees do tend to put in longer hours or more hours because they don't have to travel to office. They therefore can start work slightly earlier, or they don't have to rush home. Then they can work slightly later. So the longer hours will also reflect higher productivity for the employees. So as mentioned, having a hybrid work arrangement will help to attract and retain employees. And of course, with a hybrid team, company would not have to have big offices. They can therefore have better space efficiency. They do not have to have dedicated workstation for each employee. employees can share their workstation, and this in turn will reduce the overhead cost for the organization. And for the employee side, as many of you mentioned, by working on a hybrid work arrangement, you tend to be able to save on your expenses like traveling or meals. So both employer and employees will enjoy a reduce in overhead cost. So these are some of the advantages of having a hybrid team. However, there are also disadvantages. So some of the disadvantages are difficulty in building and maintaining trust. Especially many managers still believe that the physical presence of a body in the office means work. So unless managers learn to understand that they are also able to manage employees while they work from home, then there will be trust. Another disadvantage is regarding the planning and coordination between employees, where they have to work as a team. If some works from home, some work in the office, the coordination needed for communication is much more than when everyone is working in the office. But with today's technologies, these problems will be slowly be eliminated. The use of technology today, especially with all the conferencing facilities like Zoom, Skype, Microsoft Teams, WhatsApp, etc., will help improve communication among employees. The other disadvantage of having hybrid work arrangement or having hybrid team is where employees have poor time management skill, where they are unable to manage their time or are not disciplined enough. Then you'll find that these people will suffer in terms of stress and burnout. So to have a hybrid work team, it is important that your employees are able to manage their time and plan their work properly. Finally, one of the disadvantages of having hybrid team is team spirit may suffer in the long run. The lack of face-to-face interaction may lead to the erosion of team spirit. So company needs to plan and organize activities to help maintain team spirit. Now, I will give you some tips on some of the best practices in managing a hybrid team. In 2021, Microsoft done a survey among its employees, and 80% of their employees prefer a flexible and hybrid work arrangement. And they found that if it is managed well, hybrid work arrangement could lead to increased employees' happiness and satisfaction. They'll be more autonomous, and also the employees' productivity will increase. So with that, they have now decided to continue with the hybrid work arrangement in the company. And they have now put in place some of the best practices on how managers should manage the hybrid team. Now, some of the best practices that they prescribe is now one, communicate work schedule. It is important that everyone in the team knows each other work schedule. So member A must know member B work schedule. Will member B be in the office tomorrow, or will he or she be working from home? Everybody should know where they are whereabouts. So it's important that every team member put up their whereabouts in a calendar and share among one another. 2, members must be mindful of their time zone and work arrangement. Where you have teams from different countries, then be careful of the time differences. The next best practice is to create and set expectation. Make sure employees knows their responsibility and what is expected of them every day. So managers has to tell the employees what is their expectation. They need them to commence work at what time, will there be a meeting on which day, and what do they need to do and complete. They have to discuss their deliverables as well as set targets and deadlines for the tasks to be completed. So these are small little things, but it is important that managers and just employees communicate and set expectation. If managers do not tell the employees what are the tasks that need to be completed and when they need to be delivered, and if employees fails to do it, then they find that hybrid work arrangement is not effective. And they will blame it on the hybrid work arrangement. The other best practice is to drive focus and accountability. Employees need to be trained how to prioritize their work. They need to plan properly what are the important things to do. And they need to inform their team members. Next, managers should not try to micromanage, but to obtain commitment from the members. It is good that managers empower the employees and let them decide what are the tasks that they need to complete, when they want to complete those tasks, and they will manage based on that. So in this way, they do not need to micromanage. Managers also need to communicate well and set ground rules. For example, when do the team host their regular weekly meeting or monthly meeting? How should we communicate with one another? Should we use Skype? Should we use WhatsApp? Should we use Zoom? Managers cannot assume that every employee have all the facilities. So it is important that manager set the ground rules for communication. And also sometimes it is important to set ground rules about the time. Many a times managers tend to try to communicate to employees after office hour, not on an ad hoc basis, but quite regularly. And this can lead to stress and burnout by the employee. So be very careful that if you are having a hybrid team, do observe the working hours as well. Do not over-communicate and avoid impromptu calls or meetings. So try to plan the day. If you try to get someone and if they are not available, leave messages to call back or do share your availability time so that people know when to call you when you are available for a chat. So all these small little things, details, needs to look at if you want the hybrid team to work well. It is now very different having a hybrid team and working in the office where you can see whether everyone is present at their workstation, whether they are working or whether they are not doing as much thing. So hybrid team, you may not be able to see their presence. So it's important that communication must be effective. One of the things that for hybrid team to be effective, managers need to measure performance. It is not how much work you do. It is the result, the outcome of the work. So it's important that managers set the task, the deadline, and they measure that. So having a good tools to measure a performance, is important, especially if you want to have a hybrid team. And managers need to provide resources and support to the employees who wants to work on hybrid work arrangement. So in terms of resources, we are looking at technology and support in terms of guidance, resolving issues, and so forth. Finally, managers need to look up for signs of burnout. Doesn't mean that your staff is away from you. You do not have to bother much. You still need to focus on your staff welfare, especially their mental health and well-being. To hook up with them once a day and look at their well-being. To create relaxed time where employees can have fun and chit-chat, just like what they do in the office, hanging out at the cooler or pantry room, having small talk. Well, having a hybrid team, you will not be able to have that, but do allocate half an hour on certain days where employees can get together and chat over coffees and biscuits. and discuss general topics or share views. This will allow them to be more relaxed and recharged. Finally, do allow flexibility for employees to do some of the personal errands. Many employees like flexibility because while working from home, they do able to run some of the errands, look after their children, bring their children to school, fetch them back. So do allow some of this time, and in that way, employees will have better work-life balance, and they can then be more committed to work beyond the working hours, knowing that they have taken time from their normal working hours, will tend to replace. Finally, look at technology, invest in technology. Many companies want to implement hybrid team, but yet they don't want to commit on technology. They ask the employees to look for free application, such as WhatsApp, Zoom, and so forth, where they have time constraint or where they have poor quality. And also look at HR management system, especially if you are going to have hybrid team, employees need to apply leave or need to clock at their attendance or need to submit their tasks or projects for managers to measure their performance. So all this needs to be taught. Of course, many of us live in developed countries like Singapore, Malaysia, and so forth. But there are some developing countries where technology is an issue. Internet may not be stable. The cost of the internet could be very expensive. Some even have electricity issues. I remember I was in Myanmar for 3 years. I have constant electricity shutdown of the sudden, and I lost my internet connectivity. For many of us in Singapore, we don't face that problem. We are lucky. But if you have a hybrid team with members from other countries, do bear in mind technology, electricity, and so forth. If you want to learn more about managing hybrid team, there is a guidebook published by TAFET, that is Tripartite Alliance for Fair and Progressive Employment Practices in Singapore. You can click on the link, or you can go to TRAFITE website to look for this hybrid work arrangement, or they call it commuting, not communicating, commuting guide. So this commuting type guide is actually hybrid work arrangement, where they list down some of the important features that is required when you are planning or arranging hybrid work arrangement. It is a very good guide, so do go and download it. It's free. So having talked about the best practices in managing a hybrid team, and I've always been stressing about technology. I want to let you know that NuSmart, being an IT company, we can help you. We do have the technology. We have the HRM system that helps you to manage your staff, attendance, leave, appraisal, and you can always look upon us for consulting services. Our HRMS systems do have various modules, such as recruitment and onboarding, payroll, attendance, leave management. These are all important for a hybrid team. You need to know when the person is at work or when he's out. So having a attendance technology, which is available on mobile as well, will allow your employees to clock in and out via the mobile phone. As I mentioned about managing performance, well, in companies where you still use pen and paper for your performance appraisal, with a hybrid team for employees to do it at home will be tough. But having a performance management system that is available via the web portal or mobile will help employees to be able to do their self-appraisal, or the managers to do the employees' appraisal easily. So these are things that a manager, a company must consider when trying to implement a hybrid team. Sometimes having a hybrid team, when you want to onboard people, you need technology to help as well. And we have that capability. As I mentioned about timesheet and attendance, leave management, where employees can apply their leave via their mobile without having to leave their home. And managers can approve the leave via the phone as well. I've talked about performance management, where employees and managers can do the appraisal via the web portal or on mobile. The training is also available. Employees can look at their payslip on their mobile as well. They can look at many other features available on HRMS. So with that, I end my session and now open to question and answer. If anybody has any question on implementing and managing a hybrid team, to raise your question now and I will answer it. Thank you. If you have any question, you can raise your hand or type in the chat box or Q&A box. What are the qualities of leaders to effectively manage a remote team? Do you have any assessment tool for that? Well, the quality of managers, whether you are managing a hybrid team or a team in the office, is the same. There is no difference. Of course, managing a hybrid team needs the leader to be a little bit more aware of some of the small little details like I mentioned in terms of technology, in terms of performance. I do not have an answer to your assessment tool at this moment. I can look it up and I can share it with you once I have the answer. NuSmart HRM system is based on subscription or user license.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So I think just to answer, there are two parts to the HR solution. There is the one-time implementation, and then the subscription base is actually depends on the number of employees that you have. So it is dependent on how many employees that you require, the web portal as well as the access to our the mobile application. Yeah, I hope that answers. If you require more detail, we can take it offline as well. So we do have, I've put in the chat as well, the link to the upcoming HR webinars that I shared at the beginning of the session. And I also do invite you to connect with us on LinkedIn. So there are two groups. The first is the HR Technology Community Group. So this is a group that we have actually just started. We're trying to build a community of those who are interested in anything to do with HR technology. So there's more peer-to-peer learning involved. We want to keep you updated to the latest industry trends and that there are related to HR technology. There will be networking opportunities as well. So all of this would be closed group, and of course, we don't want there to be any advertisement. So it's really for you to learn as much as possible, and to bring back all the learnings to your companies. And the second one is our NuSmart LinkedIn page. If you want to keep updated, if you want to be updated, to our upcoming webinars or any initiatives or events that we are holding. Also, if you have any questions related to HR related matters, do reach out to me. I have kept my email. I've actually put in my email there in the chat as well, uditi@newvistasTech.com. And I'll just hand it back to Maurice if there's any more questions. Oh, we just see a question that has come. How to develop leadership style during hybrid work?
Well, this question, again, is very similar to any other development of leadership. You need to send your leaders for training, leadership training, that will focus on all the qualities and competency of a good leaders. As I mentioned earlier, there is no difference between the quality of a leader managing a hybrid team and a normal physical team in the office. All the quality has to be the same, except that managing a hybrid team needs the leaders to be a little bit more sensitive to some of the conditions which I have mentioned. That is in terms of technology, in terms of performance or distribution of tasks, completion of tasks, communication skills among one another, in terms of the methodologies, because you'll be using different technology, different video facility, video conferencing, and so forth. So how to develop the leadership style during hybrid work? Again, the person needs to go for the leadership training. So there are plenty of leadership training programs around. It is good that you can pick some of them up. So I do hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I think looks like no other questions are coming in, but if you do have any other questions, we are very open to having any chat or discussion. Just drop us a message and we'll be happy to share any views. So thanks, Maurice, for an insightful session today, and for everyone who's taken the time to join us today. We hope that you have taken away some useful tips that you can start to implement right away. We do have the 2 webinar series that we are covering that will be covering different aspects of HR. One is the foundational one and the other is the future work trends, as mentioned. So yeah, hope to see you at our future webinars. Don't forget to sign up using the link in the chat. There is a survey at the end of this webinar as well. Just if you have any other, any open-ended feedback that you have, you can feel free to let us know. I've also left my email in the chat as well. So if you want to reach out to us, feel free to reach out. So with that, we have come to the end of the webinar. Thanks everyone again for joining us for today's session and hope you have a great day ahead.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.